movie sinners, never trust thy enemy, devils, sundown towns, conjurers, spiritual discernment. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 verse 10 in the Apocrypha. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI, BaHashem, QADASH. YAHAWAH is the Heavenly Father's name. YAHAWASHI is his only begotten Son's name. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone taught me this truth through the Spirit. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessed to the 1/3 and to the confusion faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. I finally seen the movie Sinners. All right, when I saw it with a brother, and that movie is heavy, very deep, very spiritual. All right, it actually touched me, honestly. And the beauty of the movie is when you truly understand there are so many nuggets, so many subliminal messages that you will miss it if you don't pay attention. So, first off, think about it. When they're talking about the blues, when they're talking about that music comes from my soul. You know, Jake came up with that music. It's a lot of information there. Talking about music going back to the blues, to jazz, to rock and roll, to rock, all of that, all the way up to hip hop, to rapping. All that's really been Jake. Can't never tell you that. That's Jake. Very deep grassroots on that. But anyway, let's get back to the spiritual accents of the movie. Going back into Smoke, going back into Stacks. Stacks the red hat, Smoke the blue hat. Phenomenal performance by Michael B. Jordan. To also say, great cast, Cornbread, everybody, Slim, everybody. It was beautiful. But really, the whole purpose of this movie is really telling you, never trust thy enemy. In the very beginning, remember when Stacks and Stacks and Smoke was buying property from the Edomite, and he was wiping his hand down the ground. He was like, "Hey, you wipe these." He said, "You wipe this down. What was it wiped with?" And the devil spit on the ground, right? And then that's when Stacks and Smoke walked up to him to ask him about them clan members. Say, "Oh, the clan ain't here no more." Remember he said that, right? Now for the play Quentin Tarantino. He said the clan ain't there no more. Remember when that one Edomite started walking to the house way out in the field? He was like smoking. Because, you know, the sun was going down, right? And then they had the clans member robe on their bed in their house, right? Perfect example. Remember, that dude that's supposed to be a vampire, that's a spirit. That's really a spirit. Okay? And then you jump the scenes, right? And it goes all the way to the end to when the vampire is saying, this was a setup. This was going to be a grand closing to a sense, because as the vampire is talking to him, he goes back to when the Edomite showed up, where all his buddies were like, yeah, some niggas would say, yeah, to get some coon hunting. He was like, well, it's supposed to be a grand opening. Well, it's about to be a grand closing. Come on, boys. So he set them up. That's what they're trying to tell you. The movie is phenomenal. It's great. Oh my God. It's so deep, so rooted. I can't explain it. You would need like a 4-part series, but the essence of that movie is telling you never trust your enemy and to trust in the spirit. Now they talk about mojo and like voodoo in a sense. We don't condone that. But the reason why I put conjurer in there, because there is a certain spirit that we do call on, but that spirit has allowed us through the Heavenly Father to call on. That's YAHAWASHI. Okay? So, this is St. John chapter 14, verse 13 to 14. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. So we call on Yahawah, and we call on YAHAWASHI first. Because remember, he had that mojo bag. And remember when Stats got bit, And he was like, man, he said, you ain't got no mojo to save him? You ain't got no mojo? And she was like, no, no. Cut to the scene when stats changed and him and Smoke was fighting. Remember when stats tried to bite him in the neck, but their mojo bag was there? So they tried to put in the little, little voodoo or conjuring. But no, we don't do that. The only way we conjure is through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Remember, there's always a balance in everything in life. So we're going to call on the spirit. We're going to call on the spirit of YAHAWASHI. Okay? Now remember, when they was at the juke joint doing their thing, them devils showed up, right? Hey, can y'all just let us in? Would you mind letting us in? We just want to spend some money. We just want to have a good time, And then when you listen to the one that was singing that banjo music, it just touched me the wrong way. I ain't even like it. And it was like, it was saying something about robbing them clean, robbing them. You got to listen. It was kind of slick. And then as soon as the music was getting ready to stop, I felt my legs starting to want to move and I stopped it. I'm like, yeah, man, music has power. And it goes back to King Saul. Remember, King Saul was vexed. I think he was vexed with spirits. They called not King David at the time, but they called David, the shepherd, to come in. He played the harp and it soothed his spirit. Like I say, there are a lot of spiritual things in this movie that you have. If you don't have the spirit of discernment, someone will have to edify you on it. And so him playing that music, remember what Esau said? Just give us Sammy. That's all we want. We want Sammy. And Slim was like, it's fun. It's not funny, but it's spiritual. Remember when before all that happened? No, it wasn't before all that happened. They were talking about the devil or the father. What Sammy said? Sammy said, my father said the devil was gonna follow me home. He was like, listen here. Me and that joker done ran into too many times. Before the devil get you, the motherfucker that's on the gun got to come to me. And man, I've been waiting. So it's like, it's just so heavy, so beautiful, so deep. But Sammy played that guitar. And it summoned up them spirits, them demons, them devils. They need us. They need our energy. They are vampiric, right? Because what does a vampire do? Vampire need to live in order for their undead ass to stay alive. Like how Egypt had us in captivity, and what kept Egypt alive was us, the Israelites, being in captivity. Esau kept us in captivity, and plenty of times we tried to leave, but they never wanted us to leave because this is all spiritual. Remember, the Lord said, that they sold us and they said they kept us and they won't let us go. Same thing with Pharaoh. When Moses said, let my people go. When Marcus Garvey tried to get those boats to go back to Africa, they undermined him and they had holes in the bottom of the boats and everything, and they sank. So the spiritual essence of it is that we can't release ourselves from this imprisonment that we're in, but this devil know that if he loses us, he loses everything. Because America was created by us, the Israelites. Everything here by us, the railroads, the traffic lights, the combustible engine, hell, the blueprints on how to make DC. We're talking about the light bulb, the filament for the light bulb by Mr. Lattimore, not Thomas Edison. Mr. Lattimore had to go to court to sue him for his documents, for his blueprints. So much of our spirit and energy is here in America, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the Hebrew Israelites. So much of our energy and spirit is here that if we left, Esau would die without us. What I mean by that, when they came here to Americas, look up the starving times of Jamestown. Esau got here and they tried to colonize. They tried to do it by themselves. They were starving out. They became cannibals and started eating themselves. This was the early, 1500s when they got here. They were dying without Jake. We saved Esau's ass. And Esau stabbed us in the back. You got to imagine, we've never seen a deception like that in our life as Israelites. Because think about it, for thousands of years, the Western Hemisphere has been occupied. They haven't discovered shit. The Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans have been here. The Olmecs, who would be the Hamites, they've been here. They got huge freaking head statues down in South America with big old lips and big old and big ears that the Hamites left down there. So we've been coming back and forth here. Remember in the book when it says Solomon was getting exotic animals and he had peacocks and ivory and all that from another place? Yeah, because in Tarshish, the Phoenicians, they were great. They had great ships, great Navy ships. I don't know what word, the proper word I would say it. So you really have to understand the history in order to know the mystery, right? So we've been over here. So when they got here, they couldn't survive. We taught them everything. They stabbed us in the back. So Esau has two levels of how should I say, mastering over you. Number one, they use deceit and deception, try to be conniving and sly. If they don't work, pure violence. They resort to pure violence, and they show you in the movie. Come on, man, just let us in. We just want to have a good time. Well, we're gonna walk away, but slowly, just in case you change your mind. Right? Remember that? That's the devil. 2 Corinthians, Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Remember, as long as you don't let them in, you win. As long as you don't let them in, you win. It's so heavy. It's so many. You go through so many emotions in the movie. You go from dancing, you go from laughing, you go from being upset. I wanted to cry a couple times in it. And then it was like, you get to that point, it all really starts to sink in heavily. When you get to that point, when the door opened up, and cornbread tried to get in. And the way he was acting and talking and everything, is like, you can tell the spirit's taking over him. So it's kind of like when Esau kept wanting to get in, Jake already knew on code, you in the wrong spot. Stats want that money though, but Stats like, shit, even your money ain't good here. Like, who are you? What do you want? Right? And they never let them in. So they were never able to infiltrate. That's what I mean by never trust thy enemy. So as time goes on, if you don't allow them devils or even them evil spirits inside your vicinity, they can't harm you. You have to invite it in. Hence, James chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. What did it mean by that? When YAHAWASHI was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, did not the devil try to what? Convince him? He was like, look, he showed him everything in the world. Boom, I give you all of this. Just bow to me. Nah, I'm good. Hey, you starving over there. If you're the son of God, why don't you go ahead and make you some food right here, or raise up these stoves on the Abraham, all kind of craziness. And YAHAWASHI rebuked him. And when the devil left, guess who came to comfort him? Angels. Remember, we're in the middle. We're working on both. What I mean by we're working on both sides, we have to deal with both sides. The right hand, the left hand, the good and the bad. Remember those cartoons growing up? Remember, you'll have an angel on your right shoulder, the devil on your left shoulder. But what corrects us and what keeps us on our path, other than our consciousness, which bears witness, is the RAWACHAA, QADASH, the Holy Spirit. Right? Like Paul said, be ye followers of me as I am of YAHAWASHI. So therefore, I want the RAWACHAA, QADASH, the Holy Spirit, to guide me. And I can call on that spirit. I can call on Yahweh. And I can call on his only begotten son, YAHAWASHI. See, that's how we conjure up a spirit. That's how we use the essence. We call on the name of Yahweh, who's the Father of all spirits, and his only begotten Son, who he's given dominion over heaven and earth. Yeah? You understand? So, bear with me for a moment. Listen, Once again, this is St. John chapter 14, verse 13. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. Now understand, in the movie Sinners, they resisted the devil. But that sometimes he can breach in. Remember, prime example, they tried to take the Edomitish girl out there. Remember, she went out there and talked to them and everything. Esau even tried to get her. They playing that song, that music, and then he was like, she's like, I lost my mother, I'm down. He was like, yeah, we can tell. You're confused. You're lost. You're looking for some love. That's that Edomite saying, listen here, you around them niggers. Listen here, baby girl, you probably bumped your head. You should be over here with us. That's how they was talking. Remember, she was like, no, you got me mistaken. You know, whole boy put that tongue in her cooler and hit her real hard. Make a long story short. Side note, men, what that woman was going through is called alpha widowing, because she was dealing with stats before she even got married to the Edomite dude. But I'm talking about they were younger. Remember, she said, you taught me how to fight, you taught me how to shoot, because I think her mother had her grandmother, someone had sex with a Jake, and they tried to kill her, but you know, our side brought her in, so she know our side more than her other side, of course. So when she went out there, they knew she still had some of that in her. And anyway, they took her out. But the point of the matter is, she was alpha widowed, because remember, Stats was, I believe he might have been her first. So he, did his thing, humbled her. She parabonded with him. And after all these years, she went on, got married to her. He said, you got a rich white man, why you here, this and that. And it's like, she lost her mama. She came back in town to put flowers down. Stats was like, listen here. He pretty much told her in the gangster way, like, the reason why I want you to go away and be with him, have a better life, because I know you ain't safe here with me. So he really let her know, I love you so much. I'd rather lose you for you to remain alive and live a happy life than to be with me running and gunning. But them the men that the women won't. You notice that? Them the men that they won't. The sly, the smooth, the jack. And she know that man's a player, but she loves him. She got a square at the crib, Mr. Mayonnaise, but she want Jay. She want that essence. She want that mojo. Like Therese said, she want that soul pole. But nonetheless, though, she was a prime example, brothers, of alpha widow, meaning that you can meet a woman that can be just the most gracious, beautiful. She's an angel, everything to you. But there's a man in her life that will forever have her soul. Remember that. All right? I know. Trust me. When a woman's alpha widow, you'll know. Prime example, I remember my cousin told me that was this girl that he was her first in high school. Time went on, maybe 10 years. And he told me that she told her, the father of her child, because she had a child for another dude, even before she had a child, she said, if such and such come back, I'm leaving you. She told that dude that. Long story short, she been broke up from that dude. Now her and my cousin married. I'm telling you, man, sex is very spiritual. It's very spiritual. You really literally become one. You become tethered to one another. But anyway, let's get back to it. So remember, it's just so much in this movie. And I'm going to close out on this, because I already spoke about never trust our enemy and devils. The word devil, we just go back to the word Diablo, which means a liar, a slanderer. And that's all Esau was trying to do this whole time. He even lied to them for, how are they trying to kill me? Oh, man, they took my wife. I'm a coward, ain't I? Esau's such a fucking devil, such a liar, even to his own, right? And this movie is so beautiful, because you already start to have preconceived notions. Like when Sammy first rolled up in the car, I'm thinking oh snap, he fought some Edomites and survived it. But really, that go back to a scene at the end when they said, hey man, the most fun I had was before the sun went down. He was like, yeah, even for them few hours. And they flashed back, everybody dancing, getting the food, cooking, all that, talking, everything. Y'all, that was so symbolic to sundown towns. That was so heavy, y'all. Remember, sundown town, they catch a nigga out, boy, you may not make it. You may not make it to see the break of daylight. You understand what I'm saying? So that was so heavy. It's so many undertones, spiritual undertones in this movie. It's so beautiful. I have to watch it like 3 more times. But at the very end, they're talking about a sundown town. Think about it. He said, man, we had so much fun when the sun was up. Oh my God. So heavy, y'all. So freaking heavy. I'm finna close out. This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10 through 14. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. I'm going to pause right here. Remember when he ran up to that house where the clan was at? Something happened. I'm going to keep reading. Set him not by thee. Set him not by thee. Remember, they let him in the house. Set him not by thee, least when he had overthrown thee. He stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand. Lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words. Be pricked therewith. Remember when he went in the house, right? Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one, here comes the focal of the whole video. So one that goes to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? One of the very heavy movie scene was when so many, I think with the Choctaw, the Native Americans. I tell you, man, it's always stereotypical. When I seen them cars, and I seen the trucks, and I seen the horses and all that yelling, and my mind I'm thinking like Esau be the one yelling from trucks, but that don't sound like an Edomite chant. But then again, what house they going up to? A clan member house. So you thinking it's clan members? Guess who hop out the fucking truck, y'all? Gadites. The Gadites would be the Native Americans, according to the Bible. Gadites pulled up. They said, listen, there's a very dangerous man we're looking for. And she was like, ain't nobody here. And he kind of looked in and she said her name. And he was like, and then one of them was like, the sun is going down. We have to go before sundown. He was like, he said in his native tongue, something about the devil, something and such. May God be with you. And they hauled ass. Why would the native tell them that? It's spiritual though, but when they first got here, they greeted them. Well, they greeted them. They helped them. Remember, like I said, Jamestown, they were dying. We taught them how to cultivate the land and everything. They stabbed them in the back. Over 100-something peace treaties and broke them all. Like I said, Esau would get you with deception, deceit, and being sly. And if that don't work, they use pure violence. That's what they did against the natives, pure violence. If you're helping someone and they stab you in the back, what do you expect? Because you're helping them. You don't expect them to bite the hand that's feeding them. Let's go back to the analogy of the serpent. You see a serpent, there's an old saying like there was a snake frozen in the snow. So a man picked the snake up, brought it into his house. Remember, invited the snake into his house, nursed the snake back to health, and as the snake was healthy, the snake bit him. And he was astonished and said, why would you bite me? I brought you in, I nursed you and take care of you. And the snake said, I am a snake. What do you expect? So what do you expect from a serpent, which is another word for a snake, but to bite you? You want to play with a snake, get bitten. You play with fire, what they say, you get burned. Play in the water, you can drown too. Play in a hurricane, take you for a ride. You understand what I'm saying? Consequences to those things. But they're very spiritual, because even the natives know They had a name for Esau. They called him fork tongue. Why would they call the Edomites, so-called white folks, forked tongue? Have you ever seen the tongue of a snake? It's like a fork. Hence the serpent. But anyhow, with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edifying fed. There's so many more gems in this movie I can speak on, but I don't want to keep y'all too long. So stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing. Stay humble, remain diligent. YAHAWAH, Shalom.